All right, first of all, thank you all for coming. On behalf of the TPA, it is great to see everybody out here because we don't get together as a group very often, so it is great to see everybody in one space. And we have an exciting speaker today. So I want to introduce our speaker and give you a few little things that you might not know about her. Of course, she is a Scottish tennis coach and current captain of the British Fed Cup team, and she is also the mother of 2 professional players, Jamie and Andy Murray. Little known of Judy Murray is she won 64 titles as a junior and senior in her career in Scotland. So she is a tennis player herself, which is great, and decided to have a go at the professional tour in 1976, but apparently gave up the idea of competing professionally. She got a little homesick, and you were robbed in Barcelona, and that ended your professional career. So she began coaching after that, and initially was the coach for both her sons. Then she handed over that to other coaches, and before they moved on as professional athletes. But what's fun is she's coached multiple players at regional and national levels with the British Lawn and Tennis Association. And in December 2011, she was elected to lead the British Fed Cup team as their captain. And she says she took the job in part to raise the profile of female coaches and alleviate some of the sexism that she said remained in the sport. But not here in Canada, of course. That would never happen. So everybody give a hand to Judy Murray, as we are very lucky to have her today. Judy.
Well, I think the first thing to say is thank you very much for having me and for providing the lovely warm weather. I thought Scotland was cold until I got out of the plane in Montreal. I think the other thing to say is that while I've been coaching for 25 years and I'm very, very happy to share all the things that I believe in are important at different stages of development for players, I don't do this kind of workshop very often, in fact once in a blue moon. And I was persuaded to come here mainly by Debbie Kirkwood, who I've known for a number of years, and we're more than aware that we're very outnumbered in the ratio of male coaches to female coaches, and it's very important for us to take the opportunity to use our voices while we have them in order to encourage more female coaches to believe that there is a pathway towards the top of the game, and also for girls to understand that there is possibly a career in coaching should they not continue as players. So I've got 4 things I think to do today, 2 on-court sessions and 2 off-court sessions. And our first session on court is about developing smart players or developing thinking players. Tennis is one of those sports where kids and adults, you have so many problems to solve all the time. You know, where am I going to hit it? Where am I going to move to? Where am I going to move back to? You know, it's a bit like playing chess or drafts. You always have to be thinking one move ahead. So kids have to be able to think for themselves. And I think often in this day and age, kids are not encouraged so much to think for themselves because they have gadgets that do things for them. They have gadgets that do their maths for them, calculators. They have, well, we have them too as adults. We have sat-navs. We don't learn to read maps anymore. We just stick it in the sat-nav. So what I try to do when I'm coaching is get kids to understand not just what's happening on their side of the court, but what's happening on the other side of the court, and to completely understand what is happening with their game so that they're not reliant on the coach always to be there to solve their problems for them. Because once they get out on the court, it's completely down to them. And I think that if you have watched my kids playing, I think Andy in particular, you would probably have seen more because he plays singles, Jamie plays doubles, and you don't see so much of that on the television. But they're both very creative players. They have a lot of variety in their games, and they're very, very good at working out players' strengths and weaknesses, and therefore creating the right strategy to beat the opponent. I think is one of the things that Andy was very good at from a very young age, and I think a lot of that came from the fact that when he was small, I wasn't a tennis coach. I was a tennis player who had never been coached, and I learned to play the game by playing the game against other people, often much older people. And that often doesn't happen so much now, that kids play against kids and they get into programs in clubs or in centres, and they're not so involved in playing against older people who have all the the courtcraft and the guile, and they have to work out how to beat them. Well, that was how I learned. I learned with my parents. We didn't have coaches in my day in Scotland. We didn't have indoor courts. You played tennis in the summer, you played badminton in the winter. I played tennis for Scotland and I played badminton for Scotland.